Hello, it's me. Can you hear
Yeah, I
me
know.
okay?
Yeah, I can hear you nice and clear, brother.
Excellent. Yeah.
What would you what would you like to talk about?
Well, I assume you wanted to talk about the Gaza, Israeli, Palestine situation because I posted a ton of stuff in the chat about it.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, I'm from a Muslim family, and I understand the heartbreak and the rage and the all the emotions that as a Muslim I feel about Palestine and what's happening. Um, the only way I've been able to actually kind of detach from it and not have my heart so invested in the absolute um, modern modern day ho thing that is just by the comfort of the scripture itself. And I referenced some of those in the chat. And if you want, we can go through them, and maybe it'll help someone understand. If you want, that's up to you. But that's the only thing that makes sense to me at all. That this is happening is just because it's fulfilling prophecy. Bottom line.
Okay,
Go
go
ahead.
with the first one then. Go with Isaiah. Go with the first one. Put it
Okay.
on the screen. Screen share it, and then we can put it
Yeah.
on, and you
Yeah.
can go with
Give me
it.
one
Go ahead.
moment, please.
Isaiah is the Old Testament, right?
Yes. This will be Isaiah, Zechariah, and Isaiah.
Yeah, these are all from the Old Testament. Nothing from the New Testament. Yeah, I got it.
All right. Let's see here.
I got it. Okay, make the screen bigger because my eyes are not what they used to be.
Okay. Okay. Hopefully that's better. So we come down here to Isaiah 14:31, and it pretty much has it wrapped up in one verse. I mean, howl, O gate, cry, O city, thou whole Palestina art dissolved, for there shall come from the north a smoke, and none shall be alone in his appointed times. So we've got the gate, which we know is like the wall that separates the areas. We've got the O city, and it says whole Palestina, which basically the whole Palestina is basically like a city, and it says it's going to be dissolved. And you can
Hasn't that
fight God,
happened?
but I
Hasn't
would I
hasn't
wouldn't
hasn't
recommend
that
it.
happened? Hasn't that happened at the time before now? It has happened previously. This particular situation where the Palestinians were basically massacred and so forth. It's happened before, hasn't it?
I would say no because first of all, during the time of Isaiah, there was no Palestine, there was no Palestinians. They would have been called Philistines, and if they would have been called Philistines, he would have referenced them as Philistines. He's calling this specifically Palestina, which never existed at the time of Isaiah. So I don't think it's been fulfilled. I think it's happening right now.
So, who are you saying the chosen people, meaning the Jews, are quite within their right? And I'm not putting it on you, Defreak. Don't get me wrong. I'm not having a go at you or anything. I'm trying to understand your argument from a simpleton. Are you saying the Jewish or the Jews are entitled to do what they're doing right now? Are you saying this is
No,
justification?
I'm not saying they're entitled. I'm not saying they're justified. I'm just saying that this is what God said, and if it's God doing this, there's nothing that any of us can do about it. You know, that would be the fact. Now, there is no modern day justification in terms of civility, modern warfare, international law. What happened to the Hebrew in Germany versus now. I mean, none of it makes any sense unless you look at it through the eyes of Scripture at this point, in my
Okay,
opinion.
okay, that's your opinion. So the fact that these individuals are using the scripture, or you are using the scripture also to say this is prophecy, that the Lord of the Old Testament is quite happy to kill women and children. Yeah.
Well, the fact of the matter is, spoiler alert, God kills everybody or deletes everybody.
No, no, but yeah,
No
if
one.
God does it, now if God does it, but these people are getting killed by these IDF soldiers, and the majority of the people in Israel, they did a DNA test, and I know you can Google it yourself. Over 90% of the people living in Israel are not actually from that land. And I don't know if you've Googled that, you can go and check on it. These people who are in Israel right now are not, let me repeat, are not the Jewish people. They are individuals who have come from other areas of Europe. And okay, I'm just reading the chat at the same time, so forgive me.
That's all right.
I'm just asking you, so I'm going to go back now. If you think this is scripture, the Old Testament, right? You think this is God's revelation. So this God is quite happy for people to killing innocent women and children. Islam
I
is
wouldn't
totally
say. I'm sorry, go
Islam
ahead.
is totally the opposite, where the aspect of killing innocent people is forbidden. And of course, in Surah Ma'idah, there's a verse in the Quran where it says that the children of Israel were told that if they kill one innocent person, it's like killing all of mankind. And like saving one person is like saving all of mankind. I really want to weigh the two books up now, the Quran and the Old Testament, because you're talking about the Old Testament right now. I would say the Quran is more better than the scripture that you're bringing now, because the Quran is totally against killing of women and children. It doesn't matter who owns the land and so forth. It's forbidden to kill innocent people. I'll let you speak, the mic, because the freak, I did speak too much. So go ahead, brother.
No, that's all right. I mean, we should hash it out. Yeah, I think I agree with you that killing, or deleting innocent people is not God's way. But the thing is, he is going to glorify himself no matter what. And one way he does that is by revealing himself through the nation of Israel, so that all nations know. It's the same God. That's the thing. It's the same God, and this is just his way of glorifying himself. Unfortunately, I'm not saying that justifies all these deaths and stuff, but we got to remember, where do they go when they die? They go back to him. So they're going to be judged with it.
But no. The freak, you got to understand that the people who are being killed right now, they are, according to the Jews, they are non-Jewish. They are Muslims, and they will go to hell because they do not believe in the same religion as those particular individuals living in Israel. And the aspect of somebody bringing this verse to me, saying that this is justification for Jesus, because the Old Testament, of course, is, and you would agree, is Jesus, right? So he's saying there in the Old Testament that this particular land, you can dissolve it and you can kill the people who are living at this particular land right now, without any consequences. For me, that is unjust. It's unjust, 100%. Every time you speak, the freak, you always add in but this, but that. For me, that's a weak argument straight away. Because as soon as you start saying but this and but that, you're giving an excuse to this type of genocide that's taking place right now. The Palestinians have had that land for centuries. And I don't think anybody's got the right to go there and tell these people to leave this land. I don't think it's a good idea. Go ahead, the freak. If anybody else wants to jump on, brothers and sisters,
Yeah.
feel free. The link has been posted in the chat. Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I'm not saying this to justify anyone or to. I'm just saying what I see and what might be what is. Okay, that's pretty.
Okay.
That's pretty much my position on it. I'm not saying that they're right or they're wrong or anything like that. What is going on is wrong. By human morality standards, by secular humanists.
Okay.
Atheist
I've just got
morality,
this.
right?
The brother just posted this in the chat. Dot connected. He said the Hebrew word used in Isaiah 14:29 and 31 is pelith, which refers specifically to Philistia, the land of the Philistines, who lived along the coastal region of modern-day Gaza. So this brother is quite knowledgeable. If you want to jump on, feel free. And you got to understand also, the freak, the Old Testament was written in favor of the Israeli or the Jewish race.
Sure.
It was, and of course it's been changed, and so I don't know if you accept that there's contradictions in there. It has been added, and we don't know the connection to it going back to Moses and so forth. There is that aspect also. 1 second.
Well,
go ahead. Sorry, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah, that is actually not an argument that we could use, because the Dead Sea Scrolls, they actually found a book of Isaiah and it's pretty much intact, like almost tittle for tittle what we have now. So we can't really say that about what's going on here, and that being the case of being altered or something like that. Also, you got to remember, at the time that Isaiah made this prophecy, there was no Palestine or there was no Palestina. It was Philistines. It was the Philistines, or it wasn't called Palestine. Okay, so that didn't exist at his time. So for him to put that in there as opposed to Philistines means that there's a difference. That means that it was a prophecy that was in the future, and it's, to me, it's obvious that it's happening now, because just look at what's happening, right? Okay, so another thing too is there's a bunch of stuff, but
it's aimed towards you, brother. It's all aimed towards you. So show me where it uses the word Palestina in the DSS. What's the DSS? The Dead Sea Scrolls. Okay.
It's the same thing that we have in Isaiah right now. It's the same thing that's in the Isaiah scroll of the Dead Sea Scroll, right? So it's almost, it's literally like tittle for tittle the book of Isaiah in the Hebrew right now. It's the same Hebrew, by the way. It's so big coincidence or whatever you want to call it. I'm not a Jew or anything. I believe in Jesus Christ, and I believe in Muhammad, and the Quran is the word of God. It's all true to me, okay? But I can also look at something objectively.
I love it when you say "but." Remember the term "but." You got to stop.
I know.
Seriously, start saying "but." Your argument for me.
Well, I'm going to need another word. I'm going to need another word, or something like "and" or something.
You go to the next verse. Go to the next verse.
Yeah, I wanted to. There's another scripture. Let me before I go to Zechariah, which is long, let's go just to real quick Isaiah 17, and kind of all ties in. There's a political aspect to this. Don't let me forget to mention that. Okay, so we see in Isaiah 17, I think like the very first 4 verses here have not been fulfilled. Everything else has. Okay, take my word for it. You can look it up. But I'm just going to say that everything except the very first 4 verses here have been fulfilled. Okay. Bird of Damascus, behold, Damascus is taken away from being a city, and shall be a ruinous heap. Okay. Damascus has never been razed in antiquity, completely razed and destroyed throughout all of antiquity. It's one of the only cities that remained till this day. Okay, here we go.
Okay. We got
Let me have it.
we got Brother Fawad on now, mashallah. He's a lot more knowledgeable than me, barakallah.
Yeah.
May Allah protect and preserve him. Now, this is going to be interesting. We're going to go back to the first verse, Isaiah, and hopefully, Brother Fawad, barakallah feekum, habibi, we can unpack that, and then we go to this one. How does that sound?
Yes, sure.
Okay.
I mean, he made a claim that, the Bible uses the word Palestine. So, Achi, if you can actually go to Bible Hub and put Zechariah 14:31 and go to the Hebrew over there.
You mean Isaiah 14:31?
Since you already screen sharing.
14:31, right? Sorry?
Go on,
You meant
the freak,
Isaiah
type it in
14?
there.
You said chapter 14, verse 31, right?
Yeah, of Isaiah.
Yes. Okay. So let's go to the Hebrew over there and show me the word Palestine used over there. Because that's a claim that I heard you make.
All right. I'm not familiar with this website. You mind if I just use the Bible Gateway?
Sure. Go to Bible Gateway, but you have to. But Bible Gateway is going to show you the translation, right? It's not going to show you what the original Hebrew actually says. Correct?
I'm not sure, but you might be right about that.
Yes.
Okay. Let me just, just have it
So
for
that's
reference.
why we have to go. That's why we have to go to the Hebrew, right? And you can actually see this is not a website that is created by Muslims. Okay. And please, we would really appreciate it. I say this on behalf of all of the Muslims, that please stop saying that you come from a Muslim background. You may come from a Muslim background, but you know nothing about Islam. And we have already, debunked all of your claims multiple times. So it's very misleading. You're a Christian. That's what you are. Please be proud of, your faith and just present yourself as a Christian. I'm a Muslim. I will never call myself a Christian because I'm proud to be a Muslim. Okay, so wear that tag, wear that label with pride, and tell people that you're a Christian. Nothing to do with Islam. You have nothing to do with Islam. Okay, so Akhi, so if we actually go to Isaiah chapter 14, verse 31. You can actually, Akhi, if you want, in Google, you can just put Bible Hub, Isaiah 14:31. It'll be much faster. But Muhammad, we cannot hear you, by the way, if you're speaking.
No, I just thought let the freak
okay.
present the argumentation because he's the one who's bringing it forward.
No, but we wanted to show him. I wanted to show him because I have a very short time over here before I actually go for Salah.
Sorry,
I just wanted to show him because he actually made a claim, and that's actually completely false. He said that at that time there was no Palestine. Agreed. But the Latin Vulgate, we'll get to the Latin Vulgate, but first I wanted to actually debunk this. He actually left. So, okay, he's back.
He's come back.
Okay. So Akhi, so if you can actually open on Google, show him, go to BibleHub.com, because I think it was misleading. So we need to actually correct him on this. So if you actually share your screen and put in Google Isaiah chapter 14 verse 31 Bible Hub.
Well, he's got his screen shared there, so
Okay, so scroll up, and we need to see the Hebrew. Yes. So do you see like there in the middle where it actually say Hebrew in black color? No. I'm talking to the brother. They're to the right, a little bit to the right and higher. You see where it actually says Hebrew.
Yes, I
in
do.
Black color. Yeah, a little bit to the right. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Click on that, Achi. But you actually have to go to the verse. You have to select verse 31 because this is verse 1.
Like this?
Oh, the freak, you were actually sharing your screen. I thought it was Brother Muhammad.
Yeah.
Okay, no. Okay, go. Yeah, click on. So go to. Do you see like at the very top? At the very top, do you see where it says 14:1?
Yeah.
Okay, at the very top. No. Further higher. There. Yes. So click on this. You'll have a scroll down. No. Click on that again. 14:3. There you go. Perfect. Now here, this is interlinear, right? Tell me what is the word that is used over there for what you claim to be Palestine. Show me Palestine over here in Hebrew, please.
You said 3 or 31. He's on 31 right now.
Yes, the 31. Yeah. 14:31. What is the word used over there in the interlinear in Hebrew?
Okay, so
Does it say Palestine?
okay, it says Philistia,
Yes.
which would okay. So do you think that this has already been fulfilled?
No. The fulfillment is something else. What was your claim? You said that it says Palestine, and there was no such land as Palestine back then. So in other words, you were trying to mislead people over here, or maybe it was just a genuine mistake on your part, right? I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt, but it was misleading. It does not say Palestine. You're making it sound that, the Bible actually gave a prophecy about a land that did not exist back in the time. No, it actually existed. It doesn't even say what you claimed.
Well, that's actually not the case because Israel was Israel at the time. It wasn't It wasn't the Philistines. It wasn't Philistia.
Listen to what I'm saying. What was your initial
We're
claim?
talking about the time of Isaiah.
Can you, yes, at the time of Isaiah, did you say or did you not say that there was no such land as Palestine or Palestina? Did you say this, yes or no?
I said Palestine, yes.
Yes. And then did you, okay, yes. And then did you not say that we know that this was a prophecy because at the time of Isaiah, there was no such land as Palestina, but the Bible speaks of a land called Palestina. Yes or no?
It does, yeah.
Okay. Is the word Palestine or Palestina used over here? Yes or no?
In the Hebrew interlinear, it appears so, yes.
Where is it? Please highlight it for me. Where does it say Palestina?
In the King James Version.
King James Version. Perfect. So it's in the King James Version. It's not in the original. King James is a translation. Okay?
Right.
King James is a translation. I'm taking you to your original Hebrew. Then when the brother highlighted my comment, what did you say? That we know that the Dead Sea Scroll was, it actually has Isaiah and it also says Palestine. Where does it say in the Dead Sea Scroll? You want me to open up Dead Sea Scrolls for you as well in Hebrew? If you want, I can open it up. Unless you're willing to take back your claim.
Well, what I said was that the Isaiah scroll is almost identical to what we have now. The issue is the King James version of the translation is what appears to be the issue here.
No, that's fine. We can discuss that. We're talking about the original language. Does it say in the original language what you claimed?
No, well, I don't know Hebrew, but I will take your word for it. Yes,
it doesn't. You're not taking my word for it. You're not taking my word for it. You're taking the BibleHub.com's word for it. You're taking the original rabbis that have actually put this up. If you want, we can even go to Chabad.org. It says the exact same thing over there. You want? This is actually, by the way, Masoretics.
Brother Fawad,
okay.
Just lost
now, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hello? Yes.
Yeah,
okay. So this is basically showing the Masoretics. Okay. Now, if you're doubting your Hebrew Bible, that's another discussion altogether. If you think King James is more reliable, that's another question altogether. But it doesn't say what you actually claim. That's all I was here for, to debunk that claim. Okay. Jazakallah khair, akhi. That's all I wanted to say because I gotta go to pray Taraweeh.
Of course, well accepted for you, brother.
Ameen, akhi. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, that's interesting. It's always good to have people
It is
with
interesting.
knowledge.
But we do know, I'm sorry, we do know, at least I think we know, that there was a difference between the Philistina that is here in the Hebrew and what is called Palestine that the Romans gave to that land at that time. I think there is a difference there. And so at that point, I guess, that would be incorrect. But what I'm wondering is, do we think that this has been fulfilled already?
The freak, you acknowledge that you were wrong in presenting this verse. So we can basically move along now. And again, the freak, all due respect to you, sometimes you do come on and you say, you know, you were from a Muslim family and so forth. And to be honest, I don't like that much, but out of respect, I'm kind of being kind to you and being hospitable. But you've got to stop doing that because, you know, for me, it's not nice. It's not genuine. But nevertheless, the freak, we can move on to something else. And what else would you like to talk about?
Well, the only other thing that I could think of that would be a Hebrew's justification of what is going on here is, I don't know if you remember during the first Trump administration, there was the whole, of course, the Abrahamic Accord or whatever, but then you also had the offer of sovereignty to Palestine that they rejected or refused to show up to the offer table for. Are you aware of that?
I think that was incorrect. I've been doing streams with Brother Yusuf Ismail, and we'll be doing one tomorrow at 6 p.m. UK time, myself and Brother Yusuf Ismail. Feel free to come on tomorrow, and then we can talk about this particular claim. I think Yusuf Ismail is probably one of the best people to speak to when it comes to making these claims. Even the narrative of the ceasefire, which was recently broken, the narratives were from the media that Hamas broke away from the treaty, the ceasefire. But in reality, even Haaretz, which is an Israeli newspaper, openly claimed that Israel, the army itself, was the one that broke the ceasefire. And within the ceasefire period, over 170 people were killed in Gaza, even though the ceasefire was taking place. And I'd love to know the figures of how many Israelis were killed within the ceasefire period. So I'm going to leave that there, the freak. Hopefully we can move on to another topic. I was going to ask you about, because I think you are from America, what do you think of this leakage from this group, the messages that these people were getting regarding attacking Yemen? Do you think heads will roll?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It's really kind of hard to say. I think some should. I don't know if they will. I don't know if it was an inside job. I don't know if it was a betrayal. I don't know if it was negligence. I don't know what it was. It was kind of weird, but I think someone should be held responsible. The other thing I'll say is during this signal group or whatever that was put together is a lot more than the Secret Service and the local police and the whoever else was at the Butler, Pennsylvania assassination attempt had going for their communication, if that makes sense. So it's all very weird.
Yeah, I find it very conspiracy, to be honest, type of situation. And of course, the files of JFK coming out, and that's quite abrogated, isn't it? Some of the information hasn't been given out fully regarding the assassination of JFK. What's your take on that?
Well, I think it's obvious that the CIA has been rogue for a long time. I think there's been a big betrayal of the American people by its leadership, and we're going to have to pay the price for it, unfortunately. In the eyes of the rest of the world, it's terrible and it sucks, and it's almost, I think the average guy or whatever, we feel kind of helpless and betrayed because we know that if we actually J6 would, something, we're going to end up in big trouble or whatever. And it doesn't matter, um, who ends up in the right and the wrong, because you're going to be wiped out, destroyed, attorney's fees, lawyers, courts, jail. And it's just, we're in a bad spot right now. But it's obvious that the CIA has been doing its own thing for a very long time, and it's very embarrassing.
I agree.
I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say. Really, it's awful.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just going through some of X right now. You got the U.S. Congress now telling the lawmakers to stop sending money to the IDF because of the genocide that's taking place. So you got Congressman Jonathan Jackson tweeting just a few minutes ago that we really need to stop sending money to Israel because within a week, 700 people have been killed since the ceasefire broke. And I do find this really terrible. Yeah, so
can I ask you something? If there was a political solution, if there was a political solution for the Palestinians that involved, say, a carving up of Syria, would that be satisfactory to you?
Well, I'm not from that land, right? So I could, for me, like originally I was from, my grandparents and so forth were from like India and so forth and Pakistan before that was separated by the British. Of course, the colonization of that particular area. And a lot of people within that time period were killed, murdered, people fought just because of somebody else telling somebody else who owned the land to split the land. So I don't think we are in any position to tell the Palestinians that you need to give up some of that land. It's their land. It's their home. As for the West Bank, we know the fact that the West Bank, there's no Hamas in West Bank, but the settlers and the Israeli army and the police are destroying the lands and the homes of the people in the West Bank. So I totally disagree of some other Western country or government telling the Arabs or the Palestinians that you should give some of your land. How much more land do they need to give until they are totally genocide or moved out from that location? In a short answer, no, I don't think we living in the West have got any right to get involved in that war or to tell other people to split their land. Just like the situation in Ukraine and Russia, the Donbass area of Ukraine was actually owned by the Russians. But the fact that a lot of the Ukrainian population started to take over the Donbass, and the people who lived in Donbass actually preferred the Russian government. So genocide started to take place in the Donbass, in that particular part of Ukraine. And that's why Russia got involved. There's a long history of the conflict within Russia and Ukraine. I think people living in the West don't really understand the geopolitics of that conflict. And if you ask a lot of Americans or ask a lot of people to point out Ukraine on the world map, I think they would probably struggle to point out where Ukraine is. Hopefully that answers the question.
It answered the question. Ukraine, Russia, to me, it's all Joe Biden's fault. Like 100% of it.
It's actually Boris Johnson. It was a particular prime minister here in the UK called Boris Johnson. He actually told the Ukrainian government, Zelensky, to pull out from the deal. The deal was already there. They were going to sign it. And then Boris Johnson, we call him the cabbage. He's a horrible individual. He actually told Zelensky to pull away from the deal. And then, of course, it's been 2 years plus. Billions of pounds have been given to Ukraine to from my government and your government where in reality, America and UK, I would say, are in the same position economically, that UK is broken. The care system here is broken. The economy is broken here because we've been sending so much money to fund foreign wars. And the same situation is with America, exactly the same situation. We have to kind of like stand up and say, we need to look after our own first before we start to point fingers at others.
Yeah. When was the Boris Johnson Zelensky no deal? What year was that?
That was, I think it was 2008, 2016 or 18. You can just Google it. I'll Google it 1 second.
That's all right. That's fine. This
Boris
round
Johnson
here.
was,
Go ahead.
Let me just quickly go. 1 second.
Well, I'll just say, this round here is definitely all on Biden because he was the one pushing and instigating the push for NATO acceptance into, or for Ukraine into NATO, which didn't have to be the case. One thing I'll reference is Hong Kong. They had complete sovereignty. They had world financial access to the West. They didn't have to have nukes in order to, be part of the world economic system, which is how they try to justify pushing for NATO in Ukraine. So it could have been done, but Biden was such a bonehead idiot that, it's all on him, in my opinion.
Yeah, it happened over a year ago when Boris Johnson was told to tell the Ukrainians not to take the early peace deal Russia had offered.
He wasn't even in power then, though, was he?
This happened. He was told to sabotage the deal, and I'm just reading some of it because Tucker Carlson, I think his name is. He interviewed Putin, and I know the Western media here also were informed that Boris Johnson was pushed to tell the Ukrainians not to take the early peace deal. And of course, soon after, Boris.
It seems weird because I don't think BJ was actually in power at the time, so him telling Zelensky anything is sort of ridiculous. It's very strange.
Yeah, he came after Liz Truss, I'm sure. And then it was Rishi Sunak, another nut job. He didn't last long. The governments and the political figures here in the UK don't seem to last long. Either they get caught out on their lies or they get exposed for their internal funding. So this is a bit of a problem here in the UK. Right now we've got the Labour Party, and the Labour Party is a bit more lenient towards the population of the UK. But this Labour Party is more extreme than the party that we had previously with Rishi Sunak, who's the Conservatives. And I always say this, there's aspects here in the UK where the system is being broken down slowly. But unfortunately, what happens is that the migration of people are the individuals who get blamed for the breakdown of the country. Thanks, Mike. Mike knows more about this. He posted something in the private chat. Welcome back, Mike.
Hey.
Thank you for. You've posted something regarding Boris Johnson.
Yeah, the Boris Johnson, what you're talking about. This is an article by The Guardian saying Zelensky denies that Johnson forced him into anything or pressured him into anything. And this is from 2022.
2022. Let me just.
Which I mean, Johnson didn't he get in trouble for having a party during COVID lockdowns or something? So he was still in power through COVID, right?
Yeah. This is what makes me laugh is this Boris Johnson is one of the biggest liars. Just like today, Donald Trump came out and said he had no idea of this internal leak. He knew, but he said it on numerous occasions that he didn't know. As a prime minister, as a president of one of the greatest countries in the world, that you do not know that you have a leak, a serious leak within the military aspects of the faculties of your country. Boris Johnson actually learned very well from Donald Trump. And again, Mike, you're correct. Boris Johnson told everybody else to stay at home, not to visit your sick relatives or your dying relatives, or have any parties and so forth. Even the Queen, when her husband died, she could not go to the funeral. She was there's an epic picture of her sitting in the cathedral by herself, but yet he was having parties. Individuals within number 10 were having affairs. So it was horrific.
I need to buy a blonde wig.
Have you saw a picture of Boris Johnson? Have you seen him?
Oh, yeah, I remember him from when he was he was popular there for a while. Brexit or whatever, right?
Yeah, absolutely. He was popular because he kind of somehow managed to leave Europe, but the damage was already done. I feel the Labour Party, I think it was in power before that, they opened the doors for everybody. So everybody came from the Eastern Bloc, Eastern European countries into the UK because we had a free open border policy. As long as you were part of Europe and you had a European passport, you could travel freely amongst the European countries. So a lot of individuals from the Roma community, and I'm not having a go at the Roma community, they've got a bad name to them. They kind of like moved into areas here in the UK, and you can see the effects of them moving in. It's pretty bad in some of the main cities and so forth, with the fly tipping, with crime and so forth, and petty crime. It's gone through the roof.
See, that's interesting because, just if I can say, most of the Brits that I talked to during Brexit, who were for or against Brexit, most of them complained about the Polish, that the Polish had come in and taken all the jobs and were pressing wages down or something. But
you say that, Mike, and I was actually, every time I watch like a food blog program where somebody goes around the UK, trying different foods, majority of the people who work in these kind of sectors, even in the care sector or in the hospitals, are people from let me be quite blunt, they are non-white. Majority of the population, or I don't want to be racist in some type of terminology, British people or white people do not want to work until they are getting roughly 20 to 25 pounds an hour. Otherwise, it's probably classified as a low-paid job. So a lot of the individuals from the Asian community, African communities, Eastern European communities are willing to take up those kind of jobs. So when you go to McDonald's, when you go to like low-paid organizations, companies, majority of the staff there are from different races, different colors.
Sure, it's the same thing in America, pretty much. You go to an Italian restaurant and all the cooks are Mexicans. McDonald's is mostly, when I was a kid, it was, white teenagers, worked at McDonald's and stuff. People who didn't necessarily need money, were middle class. Some of them were probably poor and stuff. It is kind of funny. I was in a small town in Florida called New Smyrna Beach from 2018 to 2022. And one time I came back here, I was at my sister's, and the neighbor's like, "Oh, I've been there. It's like the 70s over there." And I'm like, you might be right, because the one dive bar I go to, the roofing crew is all white guys. I went to McDonald's and it's like teenage white kids. So
I went surfing there one time.
Yeah, it's Shark City, New Smyrna Beach, big with the surfers.
Definitely.
But but for the most part in America now, like here in Florida in July of 2023, DeSantis passed this big immigration law where if you're transporting an illegal, they're going to arrest you and all this stuff. And everybody's like, "Oh, you'll never get another roof put on in Florida," all the Mexicans and the Hispanics are all going to leave, and we just had 2 hurricanes, and I see roofs going on everywhere. So I don't know if they're not enforcing the law. Or
I got 2 questions for you, Mohammed. If I could, 2 questions for you. That lady that was caught at the speaker's corner, she was Indian or?
Yeah, she's Indian background. You must have heard her walk up and down Speaker's Corner if you do watch the clips. She just chants vile stuff. And today I received a clip. Yeah, I received a clip that she was taking money from a known Zionist who normally attends Speaker's Corner. She was caught taking money. So I'm assuming that she is paid to walk up and down for a couple of hours, Speaker's Corner, to heckle people and to chant negative. Because she never brings the Bible. She never talks about Jesus and so forth. You know, if a Christian was willing to talk about their faith, I can respect that. Do you know what I mean? I can respect that. But if you are going to go around chanting negative stuff about other people's religions and take advantage of the rules and regulations of Speaker's Corner on the Sunday, then I think, you know, and then you have this other individual, if you've seen him threatening Brother Mansour to physically harm Brother Mansour. And again, I'm surprised the police have not told him or arrested him or detained him for doing that on numerous occasions. I don't know if you've seen the freak where that...
just on your show.
Light-skinned information.
Was he paid? Was he paid?
I think there are plants there. There definitely are individuals in Speaker's Corner who are probably pushed to harass Muslims just to get the Muslims in trouble.
Yeah, instigator, provocateurs. And I wanted to ask you, Theresa May, was she a good prime minister?
Oh God, that's a good question. She was conservative. There's good bits in everybody, but what happens if you tell one lie? To cover that lie, you got to tell another 2, and then to cover the other 2, you got to go 4. So this is what happened to Theresa May, that she made so many promises for the British people to stop immigration, to cut the NHS waiting times, and so forth. None of that happened. So when you make your promises, the press over here in the UK are a bit more harsher than the press in the US. So when the UK press sees something negative from the leaders, they will 100% report it. So she had good bits about her, and majority of the stuff were negative.
Yeah,
the best prime minister I recall, to the best of my knowledge, was from the Labour Party. Oh my God,
Tony Blair.
Oh, he was bad. He was evil.
Okay,
yeah, he was evil. He's the one who evaded weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. And again, Bibi was the one who told him that there are weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. He was encouraged, and then they realized there was, after killing millions of people in Iraq, they realized there were no weapons of mass destruction. And also people like Scott Ritter, who is a known army officer, intelligence officer. You can Google him or go on YouTube. A particular individual called Scott Ritter. He was a UN inspector. He went to these particular locations, and there's no evidence of Saddam Hussein having nuclear weapons. I actually think this was another plan to get rid of Gaddafi. I know Gaddafi wasn't a good person, but he had the African nation on his top chart, that we need to look after our own. And then people like Imran Khan, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, I think he was also another good Prime Minister. But then again, he's locked up right now in Pakistan, and I don't know when he's coming out. Possibly he probably die in jail on corruption charges, on apostasy charges.
Wow.
Oh yes, there you go, Gordon Brown. Thank you. Yes, Gordon.
Oh
Brown.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah. I think he was very he was very helpful, very helpful. But I guess at that time when Gordon Brown was around, the UK was quite rich. We had a lot of money, so the benefit system was good. Everybody was living quite comfortably. You could walk out one job and go into another job on the same day. So jobs were easy to get hold of. Housing was easy to get hold of. Right now, it's totally the opposite. Housing is the housing figures is very low here. In the UK, they're always building places of residences for people, and the prices of houses here in the UK, when I was growing up, maybe 20 years ago, like a 2-bedroom house, you're on about 70, 80,000 pounds. Now that 2-bedroom house, you're on about double or triple the price right now. The price of property here in the UK has gone through the roof. It's very difficult for anybody to purchase a property now, unless you're inherited or you get some inheritance.
Right. Sounds like America, actually, in Canada.
Yeah, absolutely.
understand.
We are the same cheeks of the same backside, no doubt about it.
Oh man.
Okay,
Yeah.
guys. I
All
want to
right.
give you. Yeah, I want to really end the show on a positive note. So, guys, let's be positive. And the freak, say something positive for a minute, man.
Hopefully
It can't be.
everyone can.
Listen. It can't be religious. It can't be political. Okay. Apart from that, you can just say something for a minute, something positive.
Yeah. I just hope that people could come to their senses and cooler heads could prevail and a deal could be done because we are rational beings. God made us the ability to reason, and war is ugly, and leadership has betrayed the people, and it's gotten us into this bloody mess. And somehow, some way, we've got to pull ourselves out of it, or something's. I don't know, but that's just my hope that I'm going to put out there. So thanks for having me up.
Thanks, the freak. Nice to hear from you, brother. I'll see you soon. Mike, I'm going to save the best till last. I know you're not religious, so I'm not going to say that to you. Nothing political, but say something on a positive note.
Okay, well, I have a positive challenge for you.
For me.
Have you ever heard of freerice.com?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so it's a website. It's called freerice.com. There was a guy who created it's a teaching program. Speaking of geography, right? I can tell you where Ukraine is, but I do this free rice thing a lot. So, and you can create like teams and stuff, I guess. So if you go to it, you can check it out. It's freerice.com, and it quizzes you on geography, history, art, English. And for every right answer you get, their sponsors donate 6 grains of rice to the World Food Program.
Wow. Put the link in the chat, Mike. Put the link in the chat. That's a good way to end the show. Yeah, also another good way to end the show. And after 2 weeks or so, in my area of Coventry, I will be doing a little stall where I give out free Islamic literature. It'll be based out on the Folsall Road outside Edric Park. So if you are from Coventry, yeah, thanks. Man, put it in the other chat, Mike, in the main chat.
I'm banned from that chat.
It's crazy, isn't it? You're banned from the chat, but you're not banned from coming on the screen. I don't know who banned you. I don't know how to unban you, Mike.
Okay. Yeah. So I just commented right below Rizwan Khan, but you probably can't see it.
I can't see it. Okay. Let me just. How come yours get banned, Mike? What's going on? Copy link. Okay. Got it. Yep.
Yeah, there you go. I was going to say, you with the other Dawa channels, you guys should all create your own teams and see who can give away the most rice.
That's interesting.
Did you
Yeah.
see?
Go
So
on,
not,
Mike. What
not that it's too political or too religious, but I saw in the Muslim Lantern they created some global Dawa council.
Yeah.
Are you going to be in that?
I don't think I'm involved in that. I'm a bit of a small fish compared to some of the other brothers, and I like to stay a small fish because I'm less chance of me catching the hook. So I'm
Right.
quite happy just to be a small little fish. You know, the one that they catch, they look at it, say, "Oh, he's too small. Let's throw him back into the water." So I'm that
Yeah.
fish. So
Well,
know,
unfortunately, like you said, I think you've already been hooked. You've been at 15.6K subscribers for as long as I can remember. So
I
think
know.
you may have been shadow banned. I think Mr. YouTube's got his
Yeah,
hooks
100.
already.
Yeah, 100%. I have been shadow banned because I've been speaking about the situation in Palestine. Myself and Brother Yusuf have been 100% been shadow banned. But nevertheless, we continue. And brothers and sisters, just a quick one before we end the show. Like I said, if you are in the Coventry area, I'm planning to do a free stall on the Folsall Road outside Edgewick Park every Sunday or every other Sunday, giving out free Qur'ans and free literature to passers-by. If you are in the area, please come and visit me, and hopefully I'll probably get some good footage also for you, inshallah. And Mike, it's been an honor and a pleasure to learn from you, to benefit from you. You are one of our elders. People are not going to like me for saying that, but thank you for joining me. Very respectful.
Well, thank you.
I don't know why do people criticize you, Mike? Why?
Well, you know my original question that you wouldn't even let me ask the first time I came on.
Well, I don't remember. My memory is terrible.
You don't remember? And your boy Fawad was on. That was the same night I was on Hamza's Den and Dots Connect. They banned me from both of them. The jinn question.
Okay.
I asked the jinn.
We end the show.
All right. We won't mention it.
Yeah, we won't mention it. But guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for taking
Have a good
time.
one.
I know the last couple of days of Ramadan, so make the most of it. And I don't know, the reports are coming out that Eid will be on Monday here in the UK. I don't know where some of the brothers and sisters are in the chat, what day Eid is going to be for you guys. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And thank you for watching. And like I said, you know, a hate preacher gets caught taking money. So this individual is known as Speaker's Corner. I really want you to clip this and put it on your social media. And previously, I received information regarding this individual, if you recognize him from Speaker's Corner. And now recently, I've been given a clip of another hate preacher, which you guys must have heard. And here we go.
What is wrong with you? Ask some man. Did Muhammad did not teach you? Did Muhammad not teach you some manners? Did Muhammad?
Yeah, that clip there was given to me today, and she can see her sitting with a known Zionist, and she had a wad of money with her. So I'm assuming that the Zionists or people from that organization is paying her to come to Speaker's Corner to speak negative about Islam. Like I said, brothers and sisters, feel free to take and clip this and put it on your social media. Thanks for watching. This is your brother Muhammad from Cover FF. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.